Hello, everyone. Welcome to Deck Support. If you are in chat, let me know. I am having a interesting day. I just woke up from a nap. I had a job interview today that sucked, and I got some coffee and finished building my Henzi deck. So we'll see Henzi in future games. So let's get started. Today we are looking at Sarge's two decks, if I remember correctly. We've got both on Architect, I believe. The first one, pronouns he, him. So we'll be referring to this as his deck. Believed bracket is 3. Explain what the goal or theming for your deck is and how you win in practice. The goal is to roll dice and have fun, winning through combat damage with 1/1 counters or even passive burn damage from dice rolls. Weaknesses removal and is a bit slow. Okay. Ooh, I thought you were gonna say Mr. House, but it's Eshki. How? Okay. Let's let's calm down. I see Eshki and I think big power gamer. Eshki is such an incredible card. So powerful. Literally 4 mana for a 4/4 Vigilance Trample Ward 1. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast both a creature and a non-creature spell this turn, draw a card and put 2/1/1 counters on Eshki. The simple fact that you can put counters on Eshki and that it has Vigilance and Trample is just insane. Excellent blocker, tons of damage, crazy. But the goal is to roll some dice. So I'm thinking there are some dice rolling cards. And just looking through it very quickly, there are. Before we do anything else, this is already in non-satanic mode because I can see every card. It's not in a list. And let's just look at the lands. Brother, I'm going to fight you. 34 lands? Let me see if, like, with MDFCs or without MDFCs. Let's look very quickly. MDFCs. No, it's just straight up 34 lands. Okay. Friend, you need to be running more lands. I love you. I love you desperately. Please run more lands. Minimum 36 for any deck, even a low curve deck. Okay, let's take a look. Some artifacts. There are 10 here, which makes sense because you're trying to hit a non-creature spell. So there's a decent amount of creatures, 22. We've got a decent amount of enchantments, instants, sorceries, and then some sideboard cards. Okay. So we've got Agent's Toolkit. It is 1 green blue. Agent's Toolkit enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter, a flying counter, a death touch counter, and a shield counter. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may remove a counter from Agent Toolkit. Oh, you may move a counter from Agent's Toolkit onto that creature. Pay 2, sacrifice Agent's Toolkit, draw a card. This is really cool because it's 3 mana, so you can cast this the turn before Eshki, and then just put a flying counter on Eshki, which makes Eshki even more. Oh, we've got a raid of 13 people from Fast Don't Lie Gaming. Welcome, everyone. We've just gotten started. Hi, JJ Mickey. We literally just started. I feel like we're 2 seconds into this. We're looking at the very first card of the deck. We are talking about Agent's Toolkit, which is really cool because on Curve, you Soup Can Super Slam. That's a really cool name, and thank you for joining. Um, Agent's Toolkit is great because on turn 3 you can play it, or turn 2, depending on how you can curve into it. And then you can play Eshki, and then you can give like a flying counter or a death touch counter or a +1/+1 counter onto it, or a shield counter, which is just going to be really good for Eshki in terms of protection. And hey, thank you so much for the raid, and I am doing well, friend. Okay, Andrew, Andrew, yeah, okay. It's Lord of the Rings. I think it's Andruil, Narsil Reforged. Ascend. Whenever an equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. If you have the City's Blessing, put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Equip 3. This is also really good. Before and after, it has a Soup Can Super Slam. Thanks for the follow. What's cool about this is that the curve for a lot of these artifact spells are really low, so you can manage to cast one of them along with a creature spell after Eshki's out. Andruil is like really, really good because you can cast it later and put counters on Eshki, and then, or you can cast it before and get that City's Blessing up and deal some damage that way. I think it's actually better after. Arcane Signet, just good mana. Clown Car is actually really, really cool here because what you can do is you can cast Clown Car for 0. You can just cast it. It's like a free Eshki spell. But it also goes into the theme that they were talking about before about rolling dice. If you want to pay into X for Clown Car, then you can make a bunch of 1/1s or put 1/1 counters on Clown Car. Component Pouch is also really good because it's low cost as well. You can tap it, remove a component pouch, a component counter from component pouch, add 2 mana of different colors. You can tap it, roll a d20, 1 through 9, put a component counter on component pouch. 10 through 20, put 2 component counters on component pouch. Yeah, I think this is just really good because it ramps you into more spells with Eshki. It also is like a low-cost non-creature spell. Nutrient Block, Indestructible. Pay 2, tap, and sack this artifact. You gain 3 life. When this artifact is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. This is just really good in terms of low-cost non-creature spells for Eshki. You can just pay 1 and get this artifact towards your count for Eshki. Soul Ring's the same, good mana, and on top of that, it's a low-cost non-creature spell. The same with Strength Testing Hammer, and whenever a equipped creature attacks, roll a 6-sided die. The creature gets +X+O until end of turn, where X is the result. Then if that has the greatest power or is tied for the greatest power among creatures you control, draw a card. This is like really good draw. Eshki gets really big. You're likely to see that your creature is the strongest at the table. And on top of that, it gives Eshki even more damage for that trample damage. I think this is really, really good. It's also 1 cost, so it's good for a non-creature spell after Eshki's out. The equip cost is 3, which is not too crazy late game. If you want to do like a low-cost creature and a low-cost non-creature and then equip, you could do something really cool. Then we have Sword of Hours. Whenever an equipped creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage, roll a d12. If the result is higher than the damage being dealt, or the result is 12, double the number of 1/1 counters on that creature. This card is so confusing. I've literally used to run it, and my brain literally turns to soup when I try to read it. The important thing is that it potentially puts +1/+1 counters on the equipped creature. It also rolls dice, which I'm not sure why there's a theme of rolling dice here, but it actually seems to be working pretty well. All I know is that it makes Eshki even bigger, which is important. The One Ring. It's just the best. It's the second best draw spell in the format. It's a must draw. It's a little bit expensive, but it gives you protection. I imagine that late game you might want to play the One Ring to give yourself some protection and a low cost creature spell just to get a trigger on Eshki. Okay, let's move on to creatures. Ancient Bronze Dragon. Flying. Whenever Ancient Bronze Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. When you do, put X 1/1 counters on each of up to 2 target creature where X is the result. This is really good for Eshki because it's kind of like Voltron-y and you want Eshki to get nice and big, and this is a good way to do it. It also rolls dice. Ancient Copper Dragon. When Ancient Copper Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. You create a number of treasure tokens equal to the result. This is just like good ramp to guarantee that that Eshki can cast multiple spells a turn, so to put more counters on him. I need to look something up. I am looking up lore about Eshki really quick because I want to know what Eshki's pronouns are. It is a she. Okay. Back to regularly scheduled deck building. So this is really good because Eshki wants more spells to be cast a turn, ideally just 2, and then whatever else you want to do to just guarantee the amount of value you get out of it. 1 creature, 1 non-creature. An Ancient Copper Dragon just guarantees you the mana for it. Ancient Silver Dragon. Whenever Ancient Silver Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. Draw cards equal to the result. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. This is just really good because you want to refill your hand. Ideally, you'll be casting a lot of low-cost spells back-to-back to trigger Eshki. And because of that, you just need a way to refill your hand. And... oh! Hi, Sarge. Hi, Benji. There's a little 1-mana red creature that I loved with Eshki because it bounces to hand at end of turn. Oh, I know what card that is. Fleeting Effigy. Let's go look. Effigy. Did I spell that right? Haste. At the beginning of your end step, return this creature to its owner's hand. This is so good for Eshki. I built my Eshki deck as entirely 1-drops because cards like Fleeting Effigy were the best in the deck. True, JJ Mickey. I felt that would make a lot of sense. Effigy won me a handful of Tarkir drafts. Seems great here. I agree. I think it's so good. Like, if you can cast like low cost spells, you can guarantee Eshki's trigger every turn, especially one that you can recur. Hi, Duke. Thanks for the birthday wishes. I had so much fun on my birthday. Maybe too much fun. I had like 2 straight days just tired because I was just doing so much stuff. I did see the movie Begonia. If you haven't seen it and you're like a Yorgos Lanthimos fan, it is such a great movie. I highly recommend it. You gotta see it. Okay. Arboreal Grazer. This is a 1-cost creature, which is huge for Eshki. When this creature enters, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. It also ramps you, which is huge. Get a second land drop in there. Bamboozling Beetle, protection from robots. Pay 1 and tap. The next target player would roll 1 or more dice this turn. Instead, they roll that many dice plus 1, and you choose one of the rolls to ignore. So this is kind of like Will, which I wonder if you're running. Yes, you are running, because I know Will is a low-cost creature as well for dice rolling. This is really good in decks that care about rolling dice. So is Will. Will does sort of the same thing. If you would roll 1 or more dice, instead roll that many plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a 1/1 counter on Will, Blade of the Frontiers. Centaur Attention. When Centaur of Attention enters the battlefield, roll 5 6-sided dice and store those results. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may re-roll any number of Centaur of Attention stored results. Centaur of Attention get plus X, where X is the greatest number of stored results on it of the same value. Oh man, I got to turn my brain on. Okay. Enters the battlefield, roll 5 6-sided dice and store the result. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may re-roll any number of its stored results. It gains plus X, where X is the greatest number of stored results on it of the same value. So I roll dice and I look at the results. I can re-roll any number of them at the beginning of combat to see if I can get more that are of the same type to get plus X of the highest type that are the same. Okay. Woo! My brain is on fire. Rolling for advantage is good, Duke. I'm surprised. I was like wondering where this like dice rolling sub theme is coming from, but it actually is really good because a lot of the dice rolls just give plus X or plus X plus O, or it gives you tokens or it gives you cards. So the dice rolling is actually a little bit insane. It's a good closer for the meme deck. Is it a meme deck? I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a deck is a meme deck with Eshki at the helm. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Chaos Channeler. Whenever Chaos Channeler attacks, roll a d20. 1 to 9, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. 10 to 19, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. 20, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. This is like good card advantage. It also rolls some dice, so if you have stuff that care about dice rolls, this is really good. Delina, oh my god, I love Delina. I think this is such a cool freaking card. Whenever Delina Wild Mage attacks, choose a target creature you control, then roll a d20. 1 through 14, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the creature, except it's not legendary, and it has exile this creature at the end of combat. 15 to 20, create one of those tokens, roll again. You could potentially make an insane amount of Eshkis. You could just go wild with Eshkis. Drix Fate Maker. When this creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter has trample. It also has warp. 1 and a green. This is just really good to just put a counter on Eshki, and it also makes some of your other creatures pretty intimidating as well, because it gives stuff trample if it has +1/+1 counters. If you don't decide to Voltron up your Eshki and you kind of spread the love out with +1/+1 counters, this can also make another creature pretty intimidating. Druid of the Emerald Grove. When Druid of the Emerald Grove enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, then roll a d20. 1 through 9, put those cards into your hand, then shuffle. 10 through 19, put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into put one of those cards onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. 20, put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. It's basic lands. With this, I feel like in a lot of situations, I guess it's a creature spell, so that makes it good as well. I was thinking that for all this trouble, it might just be better to play Sky Shroud Claim. You're playing green, it lets you go get forests, and they come in on tap for 4 mana. But if you're looking for a creature spell, this might work a little better. Earth Cult Elemental. When Earth Cult Elemental enters the battlefield, roll a d20. 1 through 9, each player sacrifices a permanent. 10 through 19, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. 20, each opponent sacrifices 2 permanents. Ooh. It's just when it enters. If it was enters and attack, this card would be insane. This is just another good intimidating creature card. It's also a dice roller. Yeah. Faraday Devil's Chosen. Dark One's Own Luck. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, Faraday's Devil's Chosen gains Flying and Menace until end of turn. If any of those results were 10 or higher, draw a card. This is actually really interesting. I will be looking into this card later as potentially my Izzet deck. I really like it. Okay, moving on. Feywild Trickster. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. This is really good to just get blockers and also bodies on the battlefield that you can like soup up with +1/+1 counters. You got a lot of effects that would put counters on things, and it can turn these like 1/1s into big stompy creatures. It also you're rolling a lot of dice, so I feel like this would become sort of a swarm. Frenzied Baloth. I love this card. It's like one of my favorite cards from Edge of Eternities because it kind of does a questing beast thing. It does a questing beast thing for 2 freaking mana, and it can't be countered, and creature spells can't be countered, and it has trample, and it has haste. I love this card for 2 green. Peregrine Took. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. Sacrifice 3 food, draw a card. Right now, I don't see a ton of food synergy. I did see some food in the artifacts. I do see a decent, like a little bit of token synergy, so I'm not sure why Peregrine Took is in the deck, but I'll keep an eye out. Pixie Guide. It's 1 in a blue, flying. If you would roll 1 or more dice, roll that many dice +1 and ignore the lowest roll. Yeah, it's another way to get advantage. Prosperous Innkeeper. When this creature enters, create a treasure token. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. It is a 1/1 halfling citizen. I can't believe I read this. This is so hard to read. Yeah, this is also Peregrine Took with the treasure tokens from Ancient Brass Dragon is another thing, and the tokens from Feywild Trickster actually might make a decent amount of food. The same thing with this. Okay. Scaled Herbalist. Oh, this is also 1 and a green, so this is a low cost, along with Pixie Guide, along with Scaled Herbalist, are all sort of low cost creatures that you can cast with for Eshki's ability. Scaled Herbalist says, tap it, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. This is good ramp. Silver Raven. Flying, when Silver Raven enters the battlefield, scry 1. This is just a good low-cost creature for Eshki. Vegetation Abomination. Wait a second. Cast both a creature and a non-creature spell. Got it. Okay. Just wondering if Vegetation Abomination counts for both things for Eshki, but no, it is a creature spell when it is a creature spell, so it is not a non-creature spell. Okay. Death Touch. Tap and sack Vegetation Abomination. Roll a 6-sided dice. You gain life equal to the result. It also is a plant mutant food, which Peregrine Took cares about. It also rolls dice. I like this. Vrondis, Rage of Ancients, Enrage. When Vrondis, Rage of Ancients is dealt damage, you may create a 5/4 red and green dragon creature token with when this creature deals damage, sacrifice it. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, you may have Vrondis deal 1 damage to itself. That's actually really interesting. You can make a lot of dragons. Okay. Will, Blade of Frontiers, we've already covered. Now on to the enchantments. Barbarian class, this is a really good low-cost non-creature spell that has to do with rolling dice. If you would roll 1 or more dice instead, roll that many dice plus 1 and ignore the lowest roll. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, a target creature you control gets +2/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. Creatures you control have haste. Court Garenbrig. So Barbarian class is like really good because it can like buff up. It can give menace, which gives Eshki even more evasion, and it also can give haste. You got to pay a decent amount of mana to get the higher levels, but it's actually not that crazy in terms of mana, especially with the way that this deck seems to want to make a lot of mana for Eshki. I think it's actually really, really cool. And at the end of the day, it's just 1 red for a non-creature spell, which is really good for Eshki. Court Garenbrig. When Court Garenbrig enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, distribute 2 1/1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. Then if you are the monarch, double the number of +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Honestly, this is like a low cost non-creature spell that buffs Eshki. It literally does not care about you being the monarch that much. It gets crazy if you're the monarch, but you don't actually need it for it to get a lot of value. It's like an Eshki trigger on its own because it puts 2 1/1 counters. Druid class. 1 and a green, so a low cost non-creature spell. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life, pay 2 and a green to upgrade it to level 2. You may play an additional land on each of your turns, so that's ramp, and pay 4 and a green. When this class becomes level 3, target land you control becomes a creature with haste, and this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. It's still a land. This is really interesting because if you use Drix Fate Master, you can put a 1/1 counter on it and give it trample. You can give this land trample. So late game, it actually can be completely a blowout. Fey Offering. At the beginning of each end step, if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell this turn, create a clue token, a food token, and a treasure token. This is like perfect because this is what you're trying to do. And I imagine you can make a treasure if you need one, or food for Peregrine Took to draw cards. Innkeeper's Talent is 1 and a green, which is another low cost non-creature spell. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. This is great because you're just buffing Eshki every situation you get. You can pay green and upgrade it to level 2. Permanents you control with counters have Ward 1, which would be 2 instances of Ward 1 for Eshki. Benji says Fey Offering is criminally underplayed in general. You know, you're actually right. I think that balancing both a creature and non-creature spell might be a little bit tough in decks that are not trying to do it. But honestly, I feel like in general, you should hit this number late game often. I feel like most times we're playing sorceries and creatures the same turn. So 2 instances of Ward 1 for Eshki. pay 3 and a green to upgrade it to level 3. And if you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player or instead. This is huge because you can put double the shield counters on Eshki. You can put double the flying tokens on Eshki. I don't know why you would want 2 flying tokens, but you could do it. Killer Service. It's 2 and a green. When Killer Service enters the battlefield, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 and sacrifice a token. If you do, create a 4/4 Rhino Warrior creature token. Maybe you could sacrifice those those little tiny blue fairy dragons for some 4/4 green rhinos for a little bit of extra mana. Maddening Hex, enchant player. Whenever enchanted player casts a non-creature spell, roll a d6. Maddening Hex deals damage to that player equal to the result, then attach Maddening Hex to another one of your opponents chosen at random. 2 flying counters, butterflies in the sky. I can fly twice as high. Yes, literally. Maddening Hex is a funny card. It's also really interesting to see how it bounces around. From my experience, Maddening Hex tends to fall in love with a particular player and just stick to them. I feel like it'll go back and forth to the same player. Moonlit Meditation. Enchant artifact or creature you control. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens each turn, you may instead create that many tokens that are copies of enchanted permanent. I'm trying to figure out what you would enchant with this. This is crazy. Like on any of your creatures. Oh my God. Imagine like 4 ancient copper dragons or like, oh man. Imagine that many Delinas. Oh, well, no, she's legendary, so it wouldn't work. But yeah, you can also put it on the, any of these, like, artifacts as well. Netheri's Puzzle Ward. At the beginning of your upkeep, roll a d4. Scry X, where X is the result. Whenever you roll a die's highest natural result, draw a card. The Ancient Dragon cycle is so good. I wish they would reprint them. I would love Ancient Copper Dragon to come down in price. Priority boarding. Whenever you roll a dice, you may reveal the top card of your library. Do this only once each turn. Whenever you reveal a card with mana value less than the result this way, you may exile it. If you do, you may play it this turn. Spelunking. It seems like a lot of hoops to jump through for priority boarding. It's the kind of card that gives you card advantage, but too seldomly, I think. Spelunking is just an insane card. I just think it's insane. I was just writing an article recently about Spelunking and how I think it's better than Chromatic Lantern. There's a little bit of talk about Chromatic Lantern and if it's good or not. And a lot of times I feel that Spelunking is just a better card in what you want to do in your decks. It's the only thing is that it's green. You have to be playing green. Okay. And basically what it does is that it enters, draws you a card, ramps you a land, and lands you control enter untapped and can potentially gain you 4 life if you put a cave onto the battlefield this way. Terra Symbiosis. Whenever you put 1 or more 1/1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this only once each turn. How do I not know about this card? Whenever more than 1 counters on a creature you control, you may draw that many cards. Do this one. You can choose when you do it. You don't have to do it on the first time it triggers. It says you may. So you can like pick to put it. Wow. That's 2 draws with Eshki. That's crazy. Wizard class. It is 1 blue. You have no maximum hand size. Upgrade it to level 2 for 2 and a blue. When this class becomes level 2, draw 2 cards. Upgrade it to level 3 with 4 and a blue. Whenever you draw a card, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Oh my god, this would be amazing with Ancient Silver Dragon. You can just make Eshki insanely big. Instance, Biosynthetic Burst. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, against reach, trample, and indestructible until end of turn, untap it. This is such an interesting sort of like instant speed response to Eshki. You can kind of like try to play a creature spell, try to get in for damage, no blocks or low blocks with Eshki and trample, and you can just make it even bigger. You can make it deal damage and then untap it. I mean, Eshki has vigilance, so it doesn't even matter. You can do this to anything. It also is a good way to protect Eshki, because even if people pay the ward cost, they might still want to destroy it. I wish this gave hexproof instead of trample, because if it gave hexproof and indestructible, that would be crazy. Boing. I love this card. Return target creature to its owner's hand, then roll a 6-sided dice. If the result is 3 or less, scry a number of cards equal to the result. I think this card is cool. It's 1 and a blue. It's a good combat trick. Critical hit. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Jesus! When you roll a natural 20, return critical hit from your graveyard to your hand. This is great for Eshki because it's recurable. You're rolling constant dice. And on top of that, double strike on Eshki is just diabolical. Divert Disaster. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If they do, create a lander token. I mean, it's a good low-cost instant. Flaming Gambit deals X damage to target player. That player may choose a creature he or she controls and have Flaming Gambit deal that damage to it instead. Wait a second. Deals X damage to target player. Interesting. I've never seen Flaming Gambit before. Mana Leak. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. It's a low cost instant. Usually people are going to try to remove Eshki on your turn or the turn before. You want to be able to protect with some sort of counter magic. It's the same thing with Divert Disaster. It's just like, it depends. It can be a little bit awkward if they have open mana. True, Duke. If they're casting Flaming Gambit after a board wipe, they just have to take the damage. It's true. And it's an instant. It also, if they only have their commander out, it's either take direct damage or lose their commander. Okay, Shatter, destroy target artifact. This is just good removal. I wish it had a way to destroy more than just an artifact, but that's typically what red does. Red just hates artifacts. Spell Rupture. Counter target spell unless its control will play X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. This is so flavorful. I think this is so good in Eshki, because basically what it is a 1 and blue basically saying you will never have enough mana to counter to stop this counter. Wild Shape. It's a low cost instant that says choose one. Until end of turn, target creature you control has base power and toughness. Has that base power and toughness, becomes that creature type, and gains that ability. Oh, a 1/3 turtle with hexproof? Base power doesn't matter. You're just putting 1/1 counters on Eshki. You could do this to protect it. You can you can use this to destroy something that's flying over that's super dangerous or super oppressive, and you can instantly like destroy it. It's also an Ashki trigger. Sorcery, Circus Act. Roll three six-sided dice for each different result. Create a 1/1 white clown robot artifact creature token. That adds to more tokens that you make, so Peregrine Took will make more foods. Cone of Cold, you roll a d20, 1 through 9, tap all creatures your opponents control. 10 through 19, tap all creatures your opponents control. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. 20, tap all creatures your opponents control. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Until your next turn, creatures your opponents enter the enter the battlefield tapped. Cone of Cold is like a card that I would love to hit a 20 on. I used to run it in my... Oh, what was her name? The Icy Queen. Oh my god, what's the name? It's like an Azorius ice of the Icy Crown. MTG. Hilda! Cut your losses. 4 blue. Casualty 2. Target player mills half their library rounded down. As you cast a spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 2 or greater. When you do, copy the spell and then choose new targets. Wait a second. Does this just mill someone out? If you causality 2 the same person? Wait, how does this work? No. You would... Huh. I wonder. 3/4 of their library rounded down. Oh, okay. I was just like, how does this work? JJ Mickey got it in one. Yes, it was Hilda. Rounding half down and half the remaining. Okay. I was just trying to figure out how the triggers really work, because sometimes you can like copy an ability and it remains the amount when it's copied, but I don't think it's in this case, because that's how it works with Sulfim and that creature that when it taps, target player loses half their life. I think that with that, it actually kills a player. Yeah, Duke, I think that it's like in certain situations you can actually utilize this to like, not in this case, because I think you're right. I think in this case it does half and then half again. But I know that there are in some situations you can do it where it actually does all of it, but I'm not sure how. Fireball. Fireball deals X damage divided evenly, round down among any number of target creatures and or players. Pay an additional 1 for each target beyond the first. I mean, it's like a good low cost spell. You could like pay it for just red and deal 0 damage, but it's a spell that counts towards Ashki. Gitaxian Probe looks at a target player's hand, draw a card, and you can pay Phyrexian mana for it. So it's like no mana for this. Let's see if we can look at the Oracle text of Fireball. This spell costs 1 more to cast for each target beyond the first. Fireball deals X damage divided evenly, rounded down among any number of targets. Yes, JJ Mickey. If it would be a target player loses half their life, followed by a pair loses half their life equal to what they lost. Yes. I know because I've done it to someone. Horrific Assault. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or a planeswalker you don't control. If you control an Eldrazi, you gain 3 life. This is just really, really good to just get rid of a pesky thing with Eshki. And then on top of that, just get that non-creature trigger for Eshki. Oh, yeah, Duke. Yeah, I don't know if Fireball really is it. It might just be good to just cast it for red and have no targets. Many partings. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle, create a food token. I see more food synergy. I've been keeping an eye out. This is just really good because it's low cost. And it potentially puts a land into your hands. And it makes a food for Peregrine Took. Sammy's Curiosity. You gain 2 life, create a lander token. So that's ramp, low cost, non-creature spell. Slag Storm. Choose 1. Slag Storm deals 3 damage to each creature. Slag Storm deals 3 damage to each player. This could wipe out a token army. Like, if someone's going crazy with Scute Swarm, this actually is really good. It's just that it's a sorcery, which is tough. It also is low cost enough where I imagine that you could play a creature alongside this to get the Eshki trigger. Thunder Wave. Roll a d20. 1 through 9. Thunderwave deals 3 damage to each creature. 10 through 19, you may choose a creature. Thunderwave deals 3 damage to each creature not chosen this way. Thunderwave deals 6 damage to each creature your opponent controls for 20. This is like a decent like removal of like small things that can protect one of your small guys. Wild Endeavor. Roll 2d4s and choose 1 result. Create a number of 3/3 green beast tokens equal to the result. Then search your library for a number of basic lands equal to the other result. Put them onto the battlefield, tapped, and shuffle. Wild Endeavor, there's like a Reckless Endeavor? Reckless. It's 2 Reckless Endeavor. I really like this card. I think it's such a cool card, and I think more people should play it. It says roll 2 d12s and choose 1 result. Reckless Endeavor deals damage equal to that result to each creature, then create a number of treasure tokens equal to the other result. Depending on what you roll, this can be like a huge swing in your advantage. It just can board wipe, or it could just give you endless treasures. If you roll low twice, then it sucks. 7 mana for nothing. And I think Wild Endeavor is from the same sort of vibe. And then we've got Icy Manipulator, which is each 1/1 counter on a creature you control is also a food token. Interesting. You can remove the food token +1/+1 counters to gain life. Interesting. You can pay 3 and a green to roll 2 6-sided dice. For each odd result, put a 1/1 counter on a creature of your choice. Activate only as a sorcery. Vexing Puzzle Box. Whenever you roll 1 or more dice, put a number of charge counters on Vexing Puzzle Box equal to the result. Tap it, add 1 mana of any color, roll a d20. Tap it, remove 100 charge counters from Vexing Puzzle Box. Search your library for an artifact, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle. Interesting. It's like a good way to roll dice. Okay. Let's go to the bracket decision page. This is a believed bracket 3. Let's look at 3. Upgraded. Players expect decks to be powered up and strong, with strong synergy and high card quality. They can effectively disrupt opponents. I agree. I think this deck absolutely does that. Players expect win conditions that can be played from hand in 1 turn, usually because of steadily accrued resources. I agree. I think a blowout turn where you can give Eshki flying is going to be huge. Game plan, players expect gameplay to feature many proactive and reactive plays. I agree. It may, players expect to play until turn 6 before anyone wins or loses. This is where it gets a little dicey. This is the thing. This is the problem with Eshki, is that Eshki is such a blowout that you could just passively play a creature, a low-cost creature and a low-cost instant that just puts counters on Eshki, and it's just sort of such a tumble, right? It says turn 6. Reasonably, you can get Eshki out on turn 2. Turn 1 Soul Ring, or turn 1 Bird, turn 2 Elvish Mystic, or 1 Birds of Paradise. Maybe turn 3, actually. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. Okay, yeah, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. And then a Bop. And then you can have Eshki on turn 2. Then you can basically swing for about maybe... I don't think you can remove a player. Okay. I think that reasonably it's going to take a while for you to remove a player. It's like accrued resources. So I would say that 3 is accurate. It's definitely on the line, I think. I think it could probably play with 4s, but it would probably do very poorly. And that is my final assessment of Sarge's first deck. Chat, what do we think? What are our thoughts? I think this deck's actually really cool, and honestly, looking at a lot of these dice rolling cards kind of makes me want to build. Where is it? I was looking it up. This. I think this would be so fun. Okay. Let's get looking at the next deck. Also on Architect. Ezio. Let's go look here. Believed bracket 2. Play as many archers as possible and ping opponents. Stun creatures and win through attrition. Sarge, you're killing me. Typal theme isn't strong for modern decks. Got it. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I definitely feel that this is a meme deck. Let's just take a look. It's called Bo. Oh my god. That's good. You should have called it Bobo. Like that show. Ezio, Auditore di Firenze. Legendary creature, human assassin, 1 in a black, menace. Assassin spells you cast have free running black. Whenever Ezio deals combat damage to a player, you may play Wooburg if that player has 10 or less life. Whenever you do, that player loses the game. Oh, Sarge, is that what you were going for? I thought it was really good. Okay, Basilisk Caller. It's just an all-star card. I think it's good in general. Low cost. Gives Death Touch and Lifelink. I don't know exactly what the function will be here, but it's a good card. Bowl of Nylea. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of a theme here. A lot of this stuff is going to kill creatures. I agree, JJ Mickey. I think that if you swapped out the Wild Shape for Snakeskin Veil, that would be huge, because it's 1 mana for Snakeskin Veil. And it gives, I believe, hexproof as well. Yeah. It puts a 1/1 counter and it gives hexproof. JJ Mickey, I knew you're so sneaky, JJ Mickey. I knew you would love a deck that's just blowing up every creature you see. Galadrim Bow Flash. When it enters the battlefield, attach up to 1 target creature, untap that creature. It gets +1/+2 and has reach. Giving Death Touch to this will absolutely kill just about any flyer. Gorgon Flail, equipped creature gets +1/+1 and Death Touch. Herald's Horn enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type have 1 less to cast. I'm guessing archers. I'm seeing a lot of archers. Yeah, okay. I wasn't thinking of it in a mechanical level, was just the theming of all the bows. Yeah, it's really good. Okay. This definitely feels like a bracket 1 deck, to be honest. It has a little more synergy than a typical bracket 1, but honestly, I still think it's a bracket 1 deck. It's like pretty silly. At the beginning of upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. When Hunter's Bow enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature you don't control. Equipped creature has reach and ward 2. Nekote. Whenever an equipped creature deals damage to a creature, tap that creature. As long as Nekote remains in play, the creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Whenever an equipped creature deals damage to a player, that player loses 1 life. This is interesting. Because you can keep doing this. You can just keep doing this with Nekote. Arcus Acolyte. Reach, lifelink, outlast. Each other creature you control without a +1/+1 counter has Outlast Selesnya. Basara Tower Archer. Oh, that's an archer. This is an archer. Okay. Hexproof Reach. It's an archer, which feeds into the abilities here. Bounty Hunter. Tap it, put a bounty counter on target non-black creature. Tap it, destroy target creature with any bounty counters on it. This definitely seems like a good way to remove stuff. Bureau Headmaster. Equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Equipped abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. I mean, there are a decent amount of artifacts here that would equip. I'm not really sure how it works functionally. It's not an archer either. This might be a good card. If you're looking for something to cut, this might be a good cut. Because I don't think you have enough equipment, and I don't feel like... Oh, is it because there's a bow in the background? Is it because this person has a bow on them? That's funny. Caddy Bree of Sarge. Caddy Bree of Mithril Hall. First strike reach. When Caddy Bree of Mithril Hall attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it for each equipment attached to it. Pay 1, remove all 1/1 counters from Caddy Bree. It deals X damage to target attacking or blocking creature an opponent controls, where X is the number of counters removed this way. Good way to remove stuff. I'm D'Avenant Archer. D'Avenant Archer deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Tap. This is an archer. The Avenant Healer, which is another archer. Tap, deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Tap it, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. The Avenant Trapper, another archer. Whenever you cast a historic spell, tap target creature an opponent controls. Elvish Pioneer, Elvish Druid. Elvish Druid come into play. You may put a basic land from your hand into play tapped. Trying to see. Let's look at the art a little bit closer. I don't see the bow. Sarge, where's the bow? I see a strap. I see a bag. I see a stick. Quiver. Oh, yeah, I do see the quiver. Azuri's archers reach. Whenever Azuri archers blocks a creature with flying, Azuri archers get +3/+0 until end of turn. Phineas Ace Archer, Vigilance Reach. When Phineas Ace Archer attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each other creature you control. That's a token or a rabbit. If that creature you control has a total power 10 or greater, draw a card. Just bows. They just be bowing. Yeah, Sarge, it still counts. Great Bow Doyen. Other archers you control get +1/+1. Whenever an archer you control deals damage to a creature, that archer deals that much damage to the creature's controller. Oh my god, this is actually like low-key good. Everything else is so silly, but this is actually like really good for your deck. Legolas Greenleaf. Reach. Legolas Greenleaf can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Legolas Greenleaf. Whenever Legolas Greenleaf deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Longbow Archer. First strike. Longbow Archer may block as though it had flying. So reach. It also has first strike, which is not nothing. Duke, why are we pausing? I know. Oh my god, Duke. I have since I was a kid, I loved Lord of the Rings. I would watch Lord of the Rings every year, and I would watch the extended edition. I'm like so obsessed. The first time I ever saw all of Lord of the Rings, I was in high school, and I watched the extended edition. I was obsessed. And I was like, Legolas and Gimli are like a couple. They are a couple. If there was a Legolas and Gimli partner card, I'm like, oh my god, I would be all over it. They were roommates. 2 bros sitting in a hot tub, 5 feet apart because they're not gay. I think they're so gay. I think they're so gay. There's endless dissertations about this. They're just, wow. Matsu Tribe's Sniper. Snake Warrior Archer. Oh, is my face camera out of focus? Oh. Give me a sec. Let's do a close-up. So, oh, there we go. Okay. Let's go back to... Yeah. Thanks, JJ Mickey. Okay, where were we? Matsu Tribe Sniper. Tap. Matsu Tribe Sniper deals 1 damage to target creature with flying. Whenever Matsu Tribe Sniper deals damage to a creature, tap that creature and it doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Nylea Keen-Eyed. I can see the bow here. As long as your devotion to green is less than 5, Nylea isn't a creature. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Pay 2 and a green. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, you may put it into your graveyard. Ohabi Caleria. Reach, untap all archers you control during each other player's untap step. Whenever an archer you control deals damage to a creature, you may pay 2 if you do draw a card. This is actually like low-key good in this deck. Thank you, JJ Mickey. This is like It's crazy because this is like such a meme deck. It's literally so silly, and it just has like a bunch of random cards in the deck. But every time I see like an Archer synergy, it actually low key kind of good. Okay, Poison Tip Archer. Reach, Death Touch. Whenever another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Oh, this is huge with all the Death Touch stuff you're doing. Robber of the Rich. Reach, Haste. A human archer rogue. Whenever Robber of the Rich attacks, if defending player has more cards in hand than you, exile the top card of their library. During any turn you attacked with a rogue, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it was mana of any color to cast that spell. You can't do them both in the same turn, but it's an archer. Samite Archer. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Samite Archer deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It's a cleric, but it has a bow. Okay. Sawblade Slinger. When Sawblade Slinger enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Destroy target artifact and opponent controls. Sawblade fights a target zombie and opponent controls. Target zombie is crazy. Scrap Shooter. It is a raccoon archer. Gift a card. Reach. When Scrap Shooter enters, if the gift was promised, destroy target artifact or enchantment and opponent controls. Oh, this is interesting. It's a 1 green, and it's a 4/4 with reach. It's not bad. Shocking Sharpshooter. Reach. When another creature you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to target opponent. It is an archer. Stun Sniper. 1 and tap. Stun Sniper deals 1 damage to target creature. Tap that creature. Thornbow Archer. Whenever Thornbow Archer attacks, each opponent who doesn't control an elf loses 1 life. Thorn-Wield Archer. Reach, Death Touch. I feel like there is like a theme of dealing 1 damage, stunning, Death Touch, Reach, Titania's Chosen. Whenever a player casts a green spell, put a 1/1 counter on Titania's Chosen. It's also an archer. Torwaki, the Younger. Reach, Lifelink. If another source another source you control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, it deals that much damage +1 to that permanent or player instead. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Torwaki the Younger deals 2 damage to any target. Varus, Silvery Moon Ranger. Reach, Ward 1. Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever you complete a dungeon, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Wildborn Preserver, Flash Reach. Whenever another non-human creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on Wildborn Preserver. Another archer, 2 more archers. I'm asked, Sarge, did you play every possible archer? Or did you just play the ones you liked? Are there more archers out there is my question. Okay, enchantment. Archery training. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put an arrow counter on archery training. Enchanted creature gets tap. This creature deals X damage to target attacking or blocking creature, where X is the number of arrow counters on archery training enchanting this creature. So silly. All of them are in the stack. That's why you're playing Ezio, right? So that you can have all the colors. Elven Chorus. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Folk Hero. Commander creatures you own have whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. Is Ezio an archer? No, it is a human assassin. Let's see how many of these things are human assassins. There's a lot of humans. There's a decent amount of humans. Okay. Folk Hero makes sense. Grim Feast. At the beginning of your upkeep, Grim Feast deals 1 damage to you. Whenever a creature is put into target opponent's graveyard from play, gain an amount of life equal to that creature's toughness. How have I never heard of this card? Wait a second. How have I never heard of this card? This card is interesting. Hunter's Talent. Whenever Hunter's Talent enters, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. 1 in a green to go to level 2. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. 3 in a green to go to level 3. And at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. It's got a bow. Wait, what's the flavor on Grim Feast? I don't see a bow. I don't see a quiver. Let's look. You got to tell me that one, Sarge. You got to tell me what the Grim Feast is. Palace Siege. As Palace Siege enters the battlefield, choose cons or dragons. Cons. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Dragons. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses 2 life and gains 2 life. Obviously, you're picking cons to get like recursion of your archers that are blocking and dealing death touch damage. Let's see if we can look at... Okay. Printing. They've got Mirage. Let's look at this one. Oh, it looks like it only has 1 printing. Well, that's a potential cut for something more flavorful. Sigil of Sleep. Enchant creature. I see the bow. Whenever enchanted creature deals damage to a player, return target creature that player controls to its owner's hand. Sultai Rune Mark. Enchant creature. Enchant creature gets +2/+2. Enchant creature has death touch as long as you control a green or blue permanent. Which miss? Oh, it also has a bow here. Looks like a bow. Let's take a better look. Witch's Mist. Pay 2 and a black, tap, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Okay, I feel like this is like a good way to do like death touchy things. Bitter Downfall. The spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a creature that was dealt damage this turn. Destroy target creature. Its controller loses 2 life. This is sort of like a death touchy sort of thing. To make sure creatures die. Target creature gains death touch until end of turn, draw a card. Coordinated Barrage. Choose a creature type. Coordinated Barrage deals damage to a target attacking or blocking creature equal to the number of permanents you control of the chosen name. I don't know how this one works in your deck because it's the chosen name. They need to all have the same name to do more than just 1 damage. I guess. Oh, creature type. Never mind. Okay, archers. Crushing Pain. Crushing Pain deals 6 damage to target creature that was dealt damage this turn. It just guarantees a kill. Dramoka's Command. Prevent all damage target instant or sorcery spell would deal this turn. Target player sacrifices an enchantment. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Target creature you control fights a target creature you don't control. Fatal Blow. These are all targets. So you may cast a spell for free running cost if damage was dealt to a player this turn with an assassin or commander. When Ezio deals combat damage to a player. Okay, just checking. Fatal Blow. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. It can't be regenerated. More of this ability to kind of exist in a blocking sense. You can always deal a little bit of damage and then your other spells will kill those creatures. Instant. All creatures blocking target attacking creature become tapped. Target attacking creature and all creatures blocking it deal no damage during combat. It was sort of like a weird fog. Gift of the Viper. Put a 1/1 counter and reach and death touch counter on target creature. Untap it. This is just another way to guarantee a death touch counter on something. Horrid Vigor. Target creature gains death touch and indestructible until end of turn. Another way to give death touch. Lightning Bolt deals 3 damage to any target. This is just like a finishing move. I feel like at some point you're going to deal 1 damage and then you can usually kill most things that have 4 toughness with a lightning bolt. Mirrodin Avenged. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. Path to Exile is just good exile. Poison Blade. Target creature gains death touch until end of turn. Draw a card. Reciprocate. Exile target creature that was dealt damage this turn. This is what you meant by guaranteeing the death of a lot of creatures, because a lot of these instants sort of make sure creatures die. Reinforcements. Put up to 3 target creatures from the graveyard to the top of your library in a random order. This is like good recursion for your archers and stuff like that, your death touchy boys. Stern Dismissal. Return target creature or enchantment an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Stringing Shot. Put 3 1/1 counter, 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature with flying. This is a good way to kill most birds. Surge of Salvation. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage that black or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn. Surge of Salvation is like a card that I see nobody play except for me. It's a card that I really, really enjoy. I'm glad to see it here. It's a good way to protect your board. Twinferno. Whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the spell. Target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. This is a good way to get something death touch and first strike. This is also a good way to cast another spell that kills things. Target attacking creature with no damage in combat this turn. It's a good way to fog something. You are already dead. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Draw a card. Brother, you're running 26 lands in this deck? Sarge! 26? You have 4 drops in this deck. Exactly, JJ Mickey. What? Brother, you won't be able to play. I think you're running 26 lands if you're playing 60 cards. Yeah, they're not even particularly good lands either. They like enter tapped. This is truly a meme deck. You can't even do the meme because you don't have enough mana. I know a lot of these are low cost. A lot of these archers are really low cost, but you have things that are 4 CMC or higher in this deck and you're never getting there. Okay, let's look at the sorceries. Basri's Solidarity, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, which is good to buff up your archers. Blazing Volley. Blazing Volley deals 1 damage to each creature an opponent controls, and then you can kill whoever you want with those abilities that say that if it was dealt damage this turn, you can kill it. Borrowing 10,000 arrows, draw a card for each tapped creature an opponent controls, and freeze in place. Tap target creature an opponent controls and put 3 stun counters on its scry 2, and then split up. Destroy all tapped creatures, destroy all untapped creatures. And then we have Battle of Bywater. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, and then create a food token for each creature you control. This is really good because you're actually running a lot of low-cost creatures. Sarge, don't just say yes. Don't just say yes. 26 is absurd. Battle of Bywater is like really good here because a lot of your creatures are low cost. Okay. Let's go look at the bracket decision. The believed bracket is 2. I think genuinely this is a bracket 1 deck. I think, okay, players expect decks to prioritize a goal, theme, or idea over power. That's what you're doing here. Rules around card or commander legality to be flexible if all players agree. True. Win conditions to be highly thematic or substandard. True. Gameplay to be an opportunity to show off their creation. True. And to play at least 9 turns before anyone wins or loses. No game changers, no mass land denials, no extra turn spells, no 2-card combos. Yes, this is supposed to be bad. Bubba bad. This is a -1 if I had my way. Oh, I've met someone with a bracket 0 deck, which the goal of the deck, I think this is Oz's deck, to kill yourself as fast as possible. And I saw him kill himself on turn 2. I didn't know how to feel, but it was very impressive. How to lose the game as fast as possible. That's a bracket 0 deck. So I think it's a 1. I think it's very thematic. It actually has like a lot of substandard cards that don't work well with each other in general in here. I think that overall the theme of Archer's Death Touch and removal is like interesting. It's not even particularly good. I think it's just silly. And I think that that's more of a bracket 1, maybe a miserable bracket 1 because of the amount of creature removal in it, but it's definitely a bracket 1, I think. Chat, what do you think? While you guys figure that out, we're going to figure out who to raid. I forgot to let you guys know that from now on, I'm going to be doing 2 decks on deck review, on deck support. 3 is just too many. I think it's 1 too many. Hopefully this is what we'll do from now on. And it gives us time to raid into Benji, who I am likely to raid into, so we can watch a little bit of Benji gameplay. Let's take a look at who is streaming on Twitch right now to see.
Here, I'm going to show this off. I know we just showed it already.
Okay. Who is... Ooh, I don't see any Benji streaming right now. Is Benji taking a break? Is Benji in chat? Benji, where are you? Yeah, no problem, Sarge. I had a blast doing your decks. JJ Mickey is correct. You need to increase the amount of lands in your deck. Even as a joke, you need to actually be able to play your cards. Okay, let me see if Benji's streaming. Benji is
You know, we
offline.
got the. That's the first.
We got to figure out who else to raid. I'm thinking maybe Carlo. Let's go looking. Tell me in chat how you guys are doing today. How is your afternoon and what your plans are for the rest of the day? Maybe just dinner in bed. While we figure out who to raid. Okay, it looks like Carlo's playing Magic Arena. That might be good. Okay, we are gonna start figuring out the raid. Thank you so much for you guys coming out today and hanging out. It's been a real pleasure. I really enjoyed the decks that we did today. You'll see 2 more next week on Monday. Remember to be a good little doggy. And I think it's time to raid.
More weak preach.
Imagine the mod resubbing for 39 months. Oh, Strixhaven, hello. Hello. Strixhaven Dropout, thank you very much for the raid, my friend. How are you? Y'all, if you don't already follow Strixhaven Dropout, please give them a follow. Click that little heart emote at the bottom of your stream chat. I would greatly appreciate that. Strixhaven Dropout is an amazing content creator. Make sure you follow them on all the things more than just Twitch. Yes, give them a follow. Welcome. How are you? How was your stream? Vet Playing, hello. How are you? Welcome in. JJ Mickey, hello. How y'all doing? Welcome in, Raiders. If you don't know who I am, my name's Carlo. I play Magic the Gathering a whole lot over here. We are playing Viewer Brews until we lose to try to hit Mythic. Which is something that we do a lot over here. And I mostly play Standard, but I play Commander and other formats too. You know, just mostly a Standard player over here. But yeah, welcome in, y'all.